Jason Aaron and Javier Garron continue the World War She-Hulk storyline as the Winter Hulk's true purpose begins to be uncovered as Red Widow sets her rage monster loose on Atlantis and Namor. Jason Aaron continues his She-Hulk centric storyline that focuses this issue on Gorilla Man and his role in betraying the Avengers to the Winter Guard, and how the character feels about that. I really did like the direction that Aaron was taking Ken in, with him just wanting to drown his sorrows in beer and be beaten up by villains because of what he did. It's a form of punishment he thinks he's owed, and I like that he sees some sort of hope in She-Hulk when they eventually re-meet, and he tries to remind the hero of who she is, and in turn, the good that he can do still. It's quite interesting to make him sort of like the hero of the issue, and maybe even the event as well, since that's quite unique and different from like just normal Avengers and everything, and I hope we get to see him sort of flourish as a character, although I kind of feel like maybe he's headed towards sort of a noble sacrifice to make up for what he did. Red Widow and Russia's plan for the Atlanteans is also rather hardcore, and we've gone from some light battles here and there with the Avengers and everything to full-on genocide, which I've got to question how that doesn't spark a world war or anything, since them sort of dropping a nuke on Atlantis and sort of wanting genocide for the entire race is quite hardcore, and I understand why they would want to do that considering they destroyed most of Moscow, but yeah, that's definitely something I didn't see coming, and I'm intrigued to see where that portion of the story goes. Javier Garron again gives us some great looking action set pieces and more of the rather unique Winter Hulk design. I really like his use of perspective when it comes to Jennifer, always drawing her above everyone else and everyone sort of looking up from her, and panels sort of positioned so you look up at her and she's just this towering figure and towering rage monster. And I like how she takes up a lot of the page space as well, because she is a Hulk. Of course she would take up a lot of the space, and his action with her is really well done as well, and I like that she's just sort of like a bull in the china shop and just destroys everything in her path. The Avengers issue 48 was an interesting Gorilla Man centric issue that looked at the hero's problems and how he attempts the road of redemption with She-Hulk, while setting up one hell of an explosive plan for the Winter Guard and the Winter Hulk. I'm going to give this issue an 8.5 out of 10. Avengers issue 48 heads to the grimy, crime-ridden streets of Bagalia, where thanks to his recent betrayal of the Avengers, Gorilla Man is drowning his sorrows in bad beer, voicing how he doesn't regret the violence his storied life has brought to him, since he always gave the people who came to kill him a chance at life, and they always chose wrong. The bartender wants him to clear off, earning him a gorilla-sized hand to the throat. Despite the mountains of villains in the club, the biggest one beats down the door as the now red room conditioned Winter Hulk barrels through the club like a bull in a china shop. The villains demand the gorilla for themselves, but Winter Hulk isn't having any of it, letting loose with her gamma flamethrower, destroying many of the villains while no doubt giving the survivors cancer. As the bar burns to the ground, Gorilla Man tries his best to convince the rage monster that they were once Jennifer Walters, and she doesn't want to kill him, despite his little betrayal. Gorilla Man's little speech about walking away seemingly affects Winter Hulk, if only for a moment, but the red room's conditioning returns as she takes the monkey with her as she leaps into the moonlit sky. In the newly christened vampire nation of Chernobyl, the new sheriff in town Blade lays down the law while following after Winter Hulk's path of destruction. Knowing Gorilla Man was definitely with her thanks to the drunken gorilla smell he catches a whiff of. He tells the listening T'Challa that the Winter Hulk sure did kill a lot of the vampires, as Blade slyly kills the barely unliving survivors. Blade knows that the vampires were after She-Hulk's blood, just like they were after Wolverine's recently in a bid to become daywalkers like him, but Jennifer seemingly disagreed with their methods of collection. T'Challa wants to be left with some updates, but he's got his own problems to deal with since Gorilla Man poisoned the living Avengers mountain and he's on nursing duty currently, but Blade really hopes it's turning into a giant vampire mountain since he picked the right time to take a day job as the vampire sheriff. He tells Panther they need to find Jennifer fast as Echo, the not so proud owner of the Phoenix Force, meets with Thor, who initially gives her the cold shoulder, all thanks to the original Phoenix host revealing itself to be his mother. Echo knows that he has questions and she really wishes she could help and give him the answers, but the All-Father of Thunder isn't interested in the woman's help. Gorilla Man meanwhile is forced to row him and Winter Hulk out into the Atlantean zone in the Atlantic Ocean, where the underwater people of Namor have claimed many souls and ships. Winter Hulk's head begins hurting, but not because of Gorilla Man's constant noise, but because of her conditioning, forcing tossing her into the water to go after her target. With Winter Hulk gone, Ken decides it's time he just rows away to the nearest bar and forgets all about this. Ken is soon attacked by Atlanteans, forcing him into angry gorilla mode when they call him a human. In the waters below, the oceans begin boiling thanks to Winter Hulk's gamma radiation, while she continues to kill her way through the blue-skinned mermen. Sometime after a more gruesome gamma-flavored death, Gorilla Man crawls back to a half-destroyed boat, really hoping the returning Winter Hulk has listened to his words over the last few hours and she hasn't let the Red Widow win, since if she goes down to Atlantis to introduce herself, she will die. Winter Hulk disappears into the depths, so Gorilla Man closes his eyes and tries to forget all about it. She-Hulk meanwhile makes it to the underwater kingdom of Atlantis with Namor, her target, in range. Elsewhere in the water, Red Widow carries out the Winter Guard's true mission, the complete genocide of the Atlantean race once and for all, which she intends to carry out with her very large bomb that she and her men have, knowing that their fail-safe, a small green vial, will go ahead should all else fail. Gorilla Man meanwhile decides to become the hero the Avengers knew he was, donning some dive gear and fixing up his wounds as he dives into the depths to save She-Hulk from certain death and become the first gorilla to ever explore Atlantis.